Hello everyone. So the very kind people at Munton's Homebrew have sent me one of their brand new kits to try out. This is the Citra wheat beer from their flagship range. So this beer kit has been sent out to me a little bit prior to the release date so that I could get this video out around about the same time that it becomes available to you. And as a result, it hasn't got the proper packaging with it yet, but all of the contents of the kit are there. So I'm going to brew it as per the instructions and do a review for you and hopefully tell you about this exciting new Citra wheat beer from the Muntons Flagship range. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's have a little look at what's in the box. We've got the instructions in their normal format for the Flagship range. Now, one thing I will say is because I haven't got the normal packaging with this, it doesn't actually tell me what the target ABV is for this kit. So I'm going to assume it's going to be somewhere between 4.5% to 5%. I will confirm that with the guys at Muntons and let you know. And it's a 2-can kit. So we've got 2 big cans of malt extracts going in there. There's no other dry extract or anything like that. We have some additional hop pellets. So we're going to be dry hopping this kit as well. And unsurprisingly, as it's a Citra wheat beer, we've got 2 packs of Citra hop pellets. Those are 28 grams each. I wasn't sure whether that said 25 or not, but it's 28 grams each. So 2 ounces basically of Citra in old money. We've got a couple of the hop strainer bags and a hop sock as well. So if you need to use those on your siphon tube and to put the hops into the fermenter, they've got you covered on that front. And then we've got a full packet of Safale WB06, which is Safale's specific wheat beer yeast. Now, if you're putting Citra into a wheat beer, that would kind of indicate that you're going for a kind of American wheat style beer, which in a lot of recipes you would use an American ale yeast to ferment that out. But with this kit, they've obviously gone with a more traditional wheat yeast. Now, I'll be honest, I have used this in the past. I wasn't a big fan when I tried it. It can give you some quite spicy kind of phenolic flavors, but I've had a little look online and I'm going to aim for the sort of top end of the recommended fermentation temperature in the instructions, because I would rather try and push this towards sort of the banana end of the wheat beer flavor profile rather than the kind of spicy clove phenolic end of it, which I didn't like too much. But I will use it because obviously it's in the kit and I want to brew it as per the instructions for you. So that is everything in there. It's a standard kit beer, so I might put up a little bit of video of me making this, but that won't take very long, and then we'll get straight to the tasting. So there we are, the finished beer in the glass. Had to get the wheat glass out for this one, obviously, and it does look rather splendid in that, I must say. It's got super frothy, meringue-like top on it, as you can see there. I did maybe overcarb this slightly in the keg. I was quite enthusiastic to give it like proper wheat beer kind of carbonation. It's a little bit of a struggle to get it in the glass as a result. So yeah, it's definitely got the haziness to it. It's got a real nice kind of yellowy orange colour to it. fairly opaque. There is streaming carbonation coming up the glass, and yeah, I mean, it looks like a wheat beer, but on the aroma we get that big whack of Citra hops. So the dry hops out the packet smelled amazing when I was dry hopping with them, and to be fair, the wort from the actual cans smelled quite nice and relatively aromatic as well. So yeah, it's got a lovely soft, I want to say kind of peachy, maybe a little bit of melon there. Citra sometimes gives me a little bit of like a lychee kind of aroma. I think it's kind of along those lines. So yeah, just a sort of general soft tropical stone fruit kind of vibe going on. The head's dropping away a little bit, but it's still got a weird little meringue-like bit in the middle at the moment, which looks kind of funky. But anyway, we'll carry on. So yeah, the aroma's really good. There's a little bit of a slightly spicy, maybe phenolic kind of note there, which I'm guessing will be coming from the yeast. But let's go in for a taste and see what it's like. So yeah, again, Citra's really coming through on this. It's quite sweet, quite a soft kind of juicy fruit flavour to it. Speaking of juicy fruit, it does actually have a little bit of a juicy fruit gum kind of taste to it. There's a slight spicy phenolic note there. Some people might take that to be a little bit of kit twang, but actually I think this is pretty clean. I think that's just a little bit of a tang from the yeast. So there's a hint of kind of bubble gum, banana type flavour coming off of it, but it does have a slight phenolic note to it as well. So I mentioned at the beginning that I wasn't a big fan of this yeast when I tried it last time. I think the fermenting this at the higher temperature does help to tame the phenolics a little bit and maybe push it a little bit more towards the more kind of like banana bubblegum type flavours. But yeah, there's still a little bit of a kind of clovey, spicy note there in the background. So I'm quite impressed with that, to be honest. It's a pretty bold move, putting out a sort of Citra hopped wheat beer like this as a kit. But I think it's kind of paid off, to be fair. It's something a bit different. It's got bags of hop flavour in it, but it's a slightly unusual and novel style to boot as well. So if I was, for my own personal preference, I'd maybe, if I made this again, want to try like using a different yeast in it. So either a different wheat yeast or a clean like American yeast to make it more like an American wheat. So I think this could work quite well if you subbed out the wheat yeast for US05 or something similar. But that's more down to my personal taste. I'm still, that slight phenolic note that I get from the WB06 is still not my favourite flavour, and some people might find that clashes a little bit with the sort of fruity citrus hops, but that's me kind of picking hairs a little bit, I think. So this is still really nice, flavoursome beer, and yeah, I think that's just like my personal preference over that particular yeast characteristics. So yeah, fair play, Muntons. That is pretty decent, and this is a limited edition kit, so I guess obviously it's not going to be around forever, but I think it's one that's definitely worth giving a go if you are looking for something a little bit different, you like Citra hops, and yeah, you want a nice hazy kind of juicy wheat beer, because this ticks all the boxes for that. So cheers.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.